Hey there, adventurers, and welcome back to another episode of the Awkward Dungeon Master. This week, I wanted to talk to you guys about creating fun and interesting, fully fleshed out NPCs for your game. So I thought it would be fun to actually create like an NPC or like a mini boss that I can throw into my home game with you guys today. So I got one of my little note cards out and I just went ahead and prepped it. So information that I like to file on my NPCs so that I have it ready to go typically includes the location that the NPC is in. So in this case, it's going to be a city. Since everything in my home game is completely homebrewed, I've pulled names from different oceans or large bodies of water or mythology and that kind of thing. So, not that's a different location in my setting. So, it's Pavlopetri in the Sea of Kakova. Specifically within the city of Pavlopetri, this individual works at the Great Library. So, I'm just going to go ahead and put that in little quotation marks there so that can be readily available. And then we need a name for said NPC. So, I'm sure you guys remember the website that I like to use. It's the fantasy name generator. Let's go ahead and pick a race for him now. That's typically on the back with my defining characteristics for like physical description and that kind of thing for them to remember who people are. But part of the problem too is that I have a lot of races that I homebrewed that are in this game. School will eventually get there. There's basilisk names. I think I'm gonna see what that looks like because I have like this cool, I homebrewed a race out of a stat block for a creature out of Pathfinder. I think it was called a Baganyek, which is basically like a salamander person. So that would be kind of cool to have in this instance, I think. Especially because I gave them innate healing powers. So it'd be kind of cool to have them in a sort of intellectual facet of the world. So, Renash. That's cool. Rakskush. Yeah, let's try again. So far, Renash is winning. Raksha. A little too close to Rakshasa. For the name, I think I actually do like Renash. And then we'll have his last name be Usanaz. Sometimes I change the spelling too whenever I go through. So, affiliation. Let's go to alignment first. So I actually really want this guy to be lawful evil, since I want him to be a bad guy. And his affiliation is with that of a false god that I created within the world, known as the Ever-Burning One. Affiliation, motivation, and goal are all on here, and they're all kind of interrelated, but not really. So affiliation, obviously, is with the Ever-Burning One. You can interpret that however you want to. They could be affiliated with a state-like group, such as the Crown Guard or the Royal Family, or they could be associated with a local guild. In this case, it's a much more intense affiliation with that of a false god. But that is the most important affiliation that they are a part of. You could argue that they're also affiliated with the Great Library, which would be some of the scholars within the community across the Seven Seas, since the Great Library is kind of the hub of intellectualism and history and lore within the entire oceans. So, kind of cool there. Motivation, however, would be so my players are on their way in a roundabout sort of sense to acquire some knowledge from the Great Library that happens to be kind of forbidden in that, backup lore. Maybe we just need to do an entire video on world building and some of the lore and stuff that I've built into this that my players are slowly kind of delving out, since I made all of the original lore for this campaign kind of forbidden information. So they're all, with a few exceptions, most of the characters are young enough that they don't remember the old ones or the original 7 gods of the 7 seas. But there are still a few NPCs that they've come across that do. So it's been an interesting way to introduce some of the backstory for the entire world that they're playing in. But I digress. Motivation for this one. Motivation, power. I mean, really, this individual thinks that by bringing glory to the ever-burning one, that he is going to gain power and influence over the masses in general. So power is his motivation. His goal, however, is to see... so for his goal, I put that the ever-burning one remains the only worshipped deity in the 7 seas, meaning that he believes that the ever-burning one is the rightful god of the 7 seas, singular. So, there's that. He's already shaping up to be one weird, shisty, evil motherfucker, and that's kind of the point, because I want him to be a little bit more subtle and sneaky. So, did I write down his race was Baganac? I did not. And obviously, male in this case, and title. I kind of want him to be... I know nothing about church hierarchy. Catholic Church hierarchy of the Middle Ages. Bishops, priests, monks. Ooh, what if I made him like a really badass monk? Baganac. That's gonna be a thing. Sold. So, yeah, we're just gonna add his class back here. Not every NPC is really gonna have a class, but in this case I'm giving him one because I think it works for the narrative that I'm trying to get at. As far as his voice and kind of that mannerism, I really want him to be kind of hoity-toity. So his voice, I wanted to do bored, solemn, superior. I guess that would be a way of describing it. He has a drawl, looks down his nose. Those are things I can use to roleplay him a little bit more. But then, title. For his title, senior librarian, junior librarian, just librarian, some kind of librarian something. I feel like I can pull from somewhere else some kind of ranking. I know there's different rankings for librarians in the Borson trilogy from Garth Nix. But I think that goes deputy, senior, junior, and then all the different levels of assistant. I don't see him as an assistant librarian. Let's say senior librarian. That puts him high enough up that he could be a big, bad, evil guy and have some influence over things that are going on, but not too low to where it doesn't make any sense for him to be a bad, evil guy. And also not so high that he can not be conceivably defeated at this level in the campaign. Because my players are going to be like maybe level 6 when they get there. So I think that's a good level. Yeah, we'll do that. God, that's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Okay. We got everything. No, we didn't on the front. So I always like to put something that a character hates and something that they cherish above all other things. In this case, I think I want what he cherishes to be like a physical item. Like maybe a magical set of robes or a necklace or something that he believes is imbued with the power of the ever-burning one. So I'm feeling like he believes that he is some kind of like chosen one of this deity. So, robes or necklace? I'm going necklace right now. Some sort of amulet. So he's got this amulet of the ever-burning one. I feel like it was given to him by somebody in the local church. Like he's being used as a pawn by somebody bigger and badder than him. That's perfect. Like that a lot. And then something that he hates. I want it to be something interesting. Like, maybe he hates Fae. Is the Baganac Fae? That's why I brought all my fucking notes with me. Got all my cities and my seas and my gods here with their respective relics. Baganac, hey look, it's right here. Yeah, they're Fae, because they speak Sylvan. Yeah, no, so he can't hate Fae. What does he hate then? Celestials? That doesn't make any sense, because he's worshipping what he believes is a deity. So I can't say he hates Celestials. I want him to hate, like, a certain group of people. Maybe... In my original notes, here they are. Maybe he hates the Kraken. Yes, let's go with Biscayne. He hates the pitbull of the Sea of Biscayne. That's what's gonna happen. So, that'll be kind of cool. He can be kind of snotty about that. And then, I feel like he needs to also hate people with low intellect. Okay, so that's on there too. Just as a backup to keep things interesting. And then a physical description of him. So I kind of want him to be middle-aged. And he likes to wear loose-fitted red clothing, like pantaloons and a long tunic. Yeah. And then we'll have to describe this amulet that he carries. Golden chain, a ruby with an inner burning fire. Ooh. Oh, this is crazy. This would be fun. So what if... So DC 20 perception check, if anyone cares to look, to notice an eye, like an actual eyeball, looking out from within the flames. And if asked about it, he'll say that the necklace speaks to him, but it's actually like a communication device. And this guy does not know that. Renash does not know that it's a ruse. And the eyeball and everything, but the necklace, the communication device, is actually one of the higher-ups from within the church communicating to him through the necklace. I really like the idea of that. And then that could potentially, down the road, lead the characters there. I like this. I like this a lot. Okay, we'll say it's a priest. I'm just writing some generalized notes, so when I come back I have an idea of who this character is and what their life is all about. So, I think this is a really fucking cool NPC, guys. To summarize, we have, when they meet this character for the first time, a Baganac, which is a salamander person, who is male. He's a senior librarian at the Great Library, secretly a monk class. When he speaks with a bold, solemn, superior, drawn-out tone, and he looks down on people that are lesser than he. So, that would be something like his voice would be like, possibly. But for physical description, he is middle-aged. We should give him a color. I kind of want him to be like a deep reddish purple. Purple red. That's a cool visual, right? Okay, so he is middle-aged, deep purple red in color with loose-fitted red clothing, pantaloons and a long tunic, if you are familiar with clothing from way back when. And his amulet is the most noticeable thing about him. He displays it openly with pride, since it is widely considered to be normal to worship the ever-burning one, and it's illegal to worship anything else. The amulet itself is a set ruby with a burning fire within, like an active fire. If the characters choose to make a perception check, they may notice that there is an eye blinking within the necklace. Sometimes it's there and sometimes it's not. The Baganac person, whose name is Renash, believes that it is the ever-burning one speaking to him through this necklace, and that he is chosen by the ever-burning one for this reason. But it is actually one of the higher-up priests from the local church of the ever-burning one within the capital city of Pavlopetri in the Sea of Kakova. So, I just dropped a ton of information on you that probably means very little to you because you are not playing in my weird game in the world that I built for funsies. Alignment is lawful evil, obviously affiliated with the ever-burning one, because I keep freaking saying that. Motivation is power. His goal is to make sure that the Ever-Burning One remains the only worshipped deity in the Seven Seas. He hates the people of Biscayne, and he also severely dislikes people of low intellect, or people that he perceives to have a lower intellect than his, possibly even going to the point where he speaks even slower to them and possibly uses simpler language so that they may understand him. And the one thing in life that he cherishes above all others is the amulet of the Ever-Burning One. That's pretty cool. I'm happy with that. I don't know how you guys kind of go through and build like recurring or important NPCs for your games. If you have a special way that you do that, go ahead and throw it down in the comments so we can chat about it. And until next time, keep it rolling, adventurers.